Hello, dear learners. Welcome to the teaching learning session of sociology. In this subject, the sociological inquiries. In our last lecture, we discussed about reflexivity. What is reflexivity? In today's lecture, we'll discuss about historical methods of sociological inquiries, how history plays an important role in sociological inquiries. What is historical inquiries or historical methods? Actually, historical methods means uses of history to understand society. How history helps us to understand societies. This is historical method. Various sociologists and anthropologists used historical methods in their research. The changes in the historical methods are linked to the changes and growth of sociology as an academic discipline. The historical method, as the name implies, is a method which uses history to understand societies. History helps us to understand societies, and this is known as historical method. The use of history helps us understand the way in which the past has impacted and influenced the present day society. How the previous society impacted and influenced the present day society. History helps us to understand this thing. So it is very important to study the historical concept of any society if you want to study the present society. The historical method traces the development of society or social institution over a period of time. How social institution evolved over a period of time. This method traces the development of various institutions. It may also trace the cause of change and direction of change. What was the reason behind the change and what was the direction of change? How the present day society or present day institution has evolved from the previous institutions or the society. Historical methods helps us to understand the evolution of present day society from the previous societies. There could be many sources of history. It could be assessed through sources like government records or written accounts of the societies. Especially the complex societies, we have some written accounts. We have government records, and through those records and accounts, we can assess this society or the history, the previous society. The other sources of history includes the accounts of artifacts, clothes, ornaments, weapons, and so on. All these things helps us to understand the previous society and evolution of today's society from the previous societies. Amongst the earliest thinker to write on the use of historical method was A.R. Radcliffe Brown. A.R. Radcliffe Brown was a British social anthropologist. There are two methods to study society on the basis of historical records. First is deductive method and second is inductive method. Deductive method is what characterized the growth of the discipline in the middle of 19th century. This method was used by earliest anthropologists. Deductive method was used by the earliest anthropologists. Deductive method relied on indirect or direct evidences. The historical explanations offered by evolutionists were often based on conjectures. This method was also later used by those that Redcliffe Brown refers to as ethnologists. Evolutionist uses the deductive method, and then ethnologist. Who are the ethnologists? We'll discuss about this. Ethnologist is the term given by the Redcliffe Brown. Ethnologists use the deductive method to study the society. Ethnologists focused on the study of particular aspect of society or on culture. Ethnologist focuses on the particular aspects of the society or focused on the study of culture. The ethnologists were also critical to evolutionists. According to evolutionists, this society developed from the primitive society, the today's society or the complex society developed from the primitive society in a unilinear fashion. And ethnologists were critical to evolutionists. For the ethnologists, the use of historical explanations are limited to particular society or culture. It is not based on universal laws or explanation. According to ethnologists, the historical explanations are limited to a particular society or culture, and you cannot universalize or generalize the laws. The second case, the method used to explain society is inductive. Inductive method is directed towards discovering the general laws governing society. Inductive method try to explain or try to generalize the laws which govern the society. They try to universalize the laws. This method, according to Redcliffe Brown, was used by social anthropologists. Inductive method was used by social anthropologists, while deductive method was used by evolutionists and ethnologists. The inductive method in sociology and social anthropology is based on the field work. What is the basic difference between the deductive and inductive method? The basic difference is that the deductive method is totally based on the historical concept, while the inductive method is based on field work. The laws of historical methods or the deductive method, you cannot generalize the laws of deductive method, while you can generalize or universalize the laws of inductive methods. Inductive method may offer historical explanation that are evidence based. Although inductive method also uses history to explanation, but it is based on the evidences. It is directed towards discovering the universal laws or general explanations. While deductive methods, you cannot generalize the laws on the basis of deductive method. The inductive method, the evolutionists, the use of historical method can be traced on the second half of 19th century. The earliest approach to study society was the evolutionary in nature. The first approach or the earliest approach to study society was evolutionary in nature. The evolutionary method was used to write about the history of societies. Evolutionary methods, writes, traces the history of the society, how society evolved from the previous societies. They studied societies and cultural from the point of view of society passing through successive stages. How society passes from one stage to another stage and evolved. How society evolved from passing from one stage to another stage. The assumption of evolutionists was that all society follows the same path of development. According to the evolutionary theory or according to evolutionists, all society passes through the same phases. All society follows the same path of development. The progress of society was viewed from the unilinear perspective, that the development of society is unilinear. According to evolutionists, this development of society is unilinear. Society developed in a unilinear fashion and all society followed the same path of development. Amongst the first to use the method of sociology, social evolution, was Herbert Spencer, an English philosopher, biologist, and anthropologist. Herbert Spencer first used the social evolution concept. Herbert Spencer was an English philosopher, a biologist, and an anthropologist. Spencer used the historical method when writing on the large-scale transformation in society. He wrote about changes in society from simple to compound due to change in population size. According to Spencer, the society changes from simple to compound because of change in size of population. The French philosopher and social visionary Auguste Comte, like Spencer, used the historical method. Even the Auguste Comte, the father of sociology, used the historical method to study society. At the time of French Revolution and the Industrial Revolution, he was trying to understand the changes taking place in the society. At that time, that was the time of French Revolution and Industrial Revolution. Auguste Comte was trying to understand the changes taking place in the society. He tried to understand how the society changes or how the society evolved from the previous society. He traced back the history of the previous societies. In his 6-volume work, The Positive Philosophy, he set forth an evolutionary perspective on the development of society. Although even Auguste Comte agreed to the evolutionary concept or evolutionary perspective of the development of society. He discussed it in his work, The Positive Philosophy. The historical approach, he deliberates the origin of human thought in his law of 3 stages. He uses the historical approach. He deliberates the origin of human thoughts in his laws of 3 stages. In his laws of 3 stages, he described how the origins of how human originated and evolved, the origin of humans. He described about the changes of the society, the change in the humans, and he opted the historical approach to describe or to explain this. In this work, he traces the origin of all human societies from theological to metaphysical stage to finally a positive stage. Positive stage is a stage in which scientific explanation dominates. He used the historical approach to describe the laws of three stages. By using this approach, he traces the origin of human society from theological stage to metaphysical stage to positive stage. And then Lewis Henry Morgan, a prominent anthropologist using the evolutionary method. He worked on the origin of totemism, marriage, families. Herbert Spencer, Auguste Comte, Henry Morgan used the evolutionary method. They were evolutionists. Henry Morgan worked on the origin of totemism, marriage, and family. He traced back these societies to understand the family, the relationship, marriage, and totemism. The other notable name amongst the evolutionists was James Frazer, whose work was on origin of totemism. His method influenced scholars like Durkheim. The evolutionary approach believed that all societies evolve along a single path of development. They follow a single path, a unilinear path. And this may be described as a unilinear progression. Unilinear or rekhiya, a single line, a unilinear progression, that all societies followed a single path of development, and this is known as the unilinear progression or unilinear development of the societies. Evolutionist believes in the unilinear progression of the society. Some societies were at earlier stage of development compared to the others. The history of all society was viewed from an evolutionary perspective. The evolutionists were criticized for their belief that all societies were similar and that they all follow the same path of development. All evolutionists were criticized for their belief that all societies followed the same path of development, and that's to a unilinear path to develop the society. They were similar, although all societies were never similar and can never be similar. The inductive method, the ethnologists. Ethnologists use history differently. Evolutionists used history to explain the development of the society. According to them, the society evolved in the unilinear fashion and all societies were same. Ethnologists even used history to describe the society, but in a different manner. They do not focus on evolution. The ethnologists use the historical method to study society and their culture. They use the historical method to study society and their culture, not about the evolution of the society. Such a method explains an institution or a particular aspect of culture by tracing its development over a period of time. Ethnologists try to explain institution, how institution evolved. They traced back the history to understand the evolution of society or institution, the development of institutions. It explains a change in society by linking it to a particular stage of development of society. According to ethnologists, if there are some changes in the society, there must be some reason. There must be a development in this society. Because of the development in the society or development of the society, the institutions or the society changes or evolved. The uses of historical method in this way establishes a specific connection within a particular aspect of a culture. The historical method in this case relies on both quantitative and qualitative data. Ethnologists relied on both qualitative and quantitative data to analyze the evolution of society or the institutions. In this, we rely on factual data that is available through official records and other government sources. If there is no official records available, then we do a hypothetical reconstruction of the past. In this method, ethnologists rely on the official records of government sources, or if that record is not available, then they reconstruct a hypothesis of the past. They reconstruct a hypothetical situation, they reconstruct a hypothesis of the past. Ethnological knowledge for Radcliffe Brown is a method of historical reconstruction of the past specific to a particular society or culture. According to Radcliffe Brown, ethnological knowledge is nothing but the historical reconstruction of the past of a particular society or a culture. Ethnologists reconstruct the past of a particular culture or the society on the basis of the records available or hypothetically. It is not based on the universal law or explanation. You cannot generalize these laws or the explanations. Real history for Radcliffe Brown is where documentary evidences is available. That is only a real history, and where documentary evidences is not available is conjectural history. The development of ethnological methods. The development of ethnological methods treating the evolutionary method began towards the end of the 19th century and early 20th century. The ethnological methods explaining culture using historical method has varied over a period of time. It changes from time to time. The method changes from time to time. It can be broadly divided into 4 phases. First phase is Grabener and his followers. In Germany, the cultural historical school was influenced by Fritz Grabener. Cultural historical school was influenced by Grabener. Grabener believed that the task of ethnology was to reconstruct historical contexts between people and culture. According to him, the task of ethnology is to reconstruct the historical context between people and the culture. Reconstruction of the history. Historical explanation about society were offered from the cultural history point of view. The German scholars following Grabiner believed that culture was transmitted from one region to other region through the process of diffusion. We discussed about the process of diffusion when we were discussing about the culture. According to Grabiner and his followers, the culture transmitted from one region to another region through diffusion. They viewed this as a very important way of development of culture the world over. Because of diffusion, the culture has been developed in the world over. So diffusion is very important for Grabiner and his followers. Grabiner compared both quantitative and qualitative feature in context of two cultures. They used both qualitative method as well as quantitative method. What is qualitative method and quantitative method of research? The qualitative method of research is when we use histories and cases to explain or to reconstruct the present or the past. That is the qualitative method. And the quantitative method is when we have um, quantitative data in our hand, and by analyzing those data we can interpret or we can come to the conclusion, right? That is the quantitative feature. They compared both the qualitative and the quantitative features. It is not necessary, according to school of ethnology, for the two culture to come into contact with each other. According to this school, it is not important that the two culture to come into contact with each other. Without coming into each other, they can impact each other. The contact could have happened sometime in past. Grabner himself studied Africa, North America, South America using this method. The second is W.H.R. River. William Hales River was an English anthropologist and ethnologist. River used the historical method differently from Grabner and his followers. He believed that when culture come into contact with one another, the new feature could appear. These features could have been completely absent in either of the culture. See, according to River, when the two culture come in contact with each other, a new feature can develop or can appear, and this feature could have been completely absent from either of the culture. As a result of contact, new feature appeared or developed. For him, unlike Grabner, contact between culture was essential. According to Grabner, contact between the culture was not essential. They might have come in contact somewhere in past, but according to River, contact between the culture is important because a new feature could have been appear because of the contact between the two cultures. Next, third one is Elliot Smith and William James Perry. They explained the similarities in the culture from the point of view of diffusion from a common center. If they find similarities in culture which may be located in geographically unrelated regions, then they explain it from the point of view of diffusion from the common point of center in the historical past. According to them, there could be a common point or a common center of diffusion. If someone finds similarities in the culture which are geographically apart, it could be because of diffusion from a common center. They deny that may have developed in unrelated manner. Unlike Rivers and Grabiner, they believed that culture flows from one center to the rest of the world. Both Smith and Perry believed that Egypt was the center for all cultural diffusion. Grabiner believed that it was not essential that culture should come in contact. According to River, it is important that both cultures should come in contact. And Perry and Elliot Smith believed that there must be a common center for the diffusion, and they believed that Egypt was the center for culture diffusion, that the culture diffused from the Egypt to nearby area, and from those nearby area it spread to the various other areas. The American Historical School. The American Lewis Henry Morgan, following the footstep of Rivers, mapped genealogy of American Indian tribes. Morgan used extensive data to establish the unity of various kinship systems. He examined the way in which structure of family and social institution change and develop. Morgan was influenced by River, and he tried to map the similarities or the genealogical American Indian tribes. He used data to establish the unity of various kinship systems. He worked extensively on kinship system. He examined the way in which structure of family and social institution change and develop. After Morgan, Franz, a German-born American anthropologist, and A.L. Kroeber focused on explaining data through use of historical explanation. Boas was critical of evolutionary perspective and instead proposed that culture developed historically through process of diffusion when people interact with one another. According to Boas, that evolution, uh, that culture developed historically through diffusion. The ethnological method. In the 18th and 19th century, there is a shift from evolutionary perspective to ethnological perspective. People shifted from evolutionary perspective to ethnological perspective. For ethnologists, development of culture could be explained through culture coming into contact. The contact between the culture was viewed differently in different parts of the world. There was a lack of agreement amongst the ethnologists to use the historical method. Although they used the historical method, but there was a differences how to use the historical methods. Ethnologists contributed greatly to use of historical method to study society. Such methods explain an institutions or a particular aspects of culture by tracing its development over a period of time. It explains a change in society by linking it to a particular stage of development of society. This labeling as ethnology was an attempt by Radcliffe Brown to break away from historical studies. the deductive method. The social anthropologists were more focused on understanding the development of culture. They often used sources of history that were not written, which could include artifacts, customs, and so on. Official sources and documents were also used, but they were used more in terms of understanding specific events or occurrences. Ethnologists, as we all know, that they more focused on understanding on development of the culture. They often use the sources of history, official sources as well as unofficial sources. As opposed to the methodology of ethnologist Redcliffe Brown proposes the use of the term social anthropology for those who formulate general laws for society. As ethnologists cannot formulate the general laws for this society because it is based on the historical perspective. They used history. Redcliffe Brown proposed that the use of the term social anthropologist. He proposes the term social anthropology for those who formulate general or universal laws. Their focus is not specific aspect of society like ethnologists. Social anthropologists focus focus that the focus of social anthropologist is not on the specific aspects like of ethnologist. The task of social anthropology in this method was to discover the universal laws of the society. He focuses on studying the social morphology and social physiology of society in order to discover universal laws governing them. A knowledge of history helps to discover the social structure and function. This is, however, an indirect use of history. History is important to understand the society. Excuse me. History is important to understand this society. Knowledge of history is important to discover the social structure and function. But this is an indirect use of history. On the basis of history, we cannot study society. The focus is on the societies at present and not on the events that have happened earlier. According to social anthropologist, according to Redcliffe Brown, social anthropology is focuses on the present society and not on the events that have happened earlier. Although those events are important, they play an important role in study of society. But on the basis of those events or the past society, we cannot study the present society. According to Redcliffe Brown, the historical explanation by historians are concerned with particulars and not generalize in nature. You cannot generalize this study on the basis of history. Social anthropology for Redcliffe Brown explained societies in terms of social laws and not in terms of reconstructed history. According to Redcliffe Brown, social anthropology explained society in terms of sociological laws, not in terms of reconstructed history. They explain the society in terms of sociological laws or social laws, not in terms of historical perspective or historical laws. Ethnology, according to Redcliffe Brown, used unverifiable guesses which could not be verified. Facts and data for anthropologists had to be gathered through field work. And anthropologists should gather the facts and data through field work, while anthropologists gather their data from history, from unverifiable guesses, which is very difficult to verify their guesses. The historical method, later times. French sociologist Emile Durkheim used historical method. French sociologist Emile Durkheim. Because of Emile Durkheim, we are able to study sociology as an academic subject. It is because of his efforts this has been established as a subject. He drew from the work of Fossil de Coligny, a French historian, for his book The Division of Labor in Society and the Elementary Forms of Religious Life. From a French historian book, he takes matter for the division of labor and the elementary form of religious life. So he used the historical method. He also wrote on the history of education in France. So even Emile Durkheim used the historical method. So it is important. Ferdinand Tönnies, a German sociologist, retained an interest in past. Wilfred Pareto, in his treatise on sociology, developed the notion of circulation of elites in society. He discussed classical Athens, Rome, Spartan society, and took example from the history of Italy in Middle Ages. So Tönnies, Durkheim, Pareto, all these uses the historical method to explain the society. In the 20th century, social anthropologists following Radcliffe Brown were more focused on discovering the general laws of society. This was in an attempt to make sociology and social anthropology as scientific as natural sciences. Right? Radcliffe Brown tried to make sociology and social anthropology as scientific as natural sciences, and for this they were focused, Radcliffe Brown and his followers were focused on discovering the general laws of the society on the basis of the field study rather than on the historical data. The use of the historical method in India. Even in India, the historical method has been used by Indian sociologists. Sociologists in India used historical text to understand the social realities. Many of them were Indiologists. G.S. Gure, the father of Indian sociology, Louis Dumont, Ketkar, M.H. Kapadia, Iravati Karve were among the few. At the Bombay School of Economics and Sociology, Gure and his student extensively used historical and Sanskrit text to study contemporary social structure and institutions. This exemplified the use of history for a macro analysis. G.S. Gure is the father of Indian sociology and Auguste Comte is father of sociology. G.S. Gure was the head of the department at Bombay School of Economics and Sociology, and he is known as a armchair sociologist because he used the historical perspective to explain his work or to describe his work at Bombay School of Economics and Sociology. Ghurye and his students extensively used the historical methods and the Sanskrit text to explain the contemporary social structures and institutions. The substantive use of history in study of society is seen in the work of A.R. Desai, D.N. Dharangkar and Yogendra Singh, P.C. Joshi, A.M. Shah, M.S. Rao, and several others. A substantive use of history implies that history is used to explain society. Even Yogendra Yadav, Desai, Yogendra Singh, Desai, P.C. Joshi, A.M. Shah, M.S. Rao, G.S. Ghurye, all those used history to explain the society. Comparative method. See, we discussed about the historical method. Historical method is, what is historical method? Let us summarize it for you. A historical method, before starting a comparative method, let me summarize the historical method for you. What is historical method? Historical method is use of the history to explain the contemporary society, right? There were the two types of historical method, deductive method and the inductive methods. Deductive method is when they use the history to explain or to describe the present society. The evolutionists, especially Smith, even Auguste Comte, Morgan, they use the deductive method to explain the society. According to evolutionists, that the contemporary society evolved from the previous society in a unilinear way, in a unilinear fashion, that all societies were same and developed and followed a same path of development, right? The next was the ethnologist method. Ethnologist, according to the ethnologist, they used the, even ethnologists use the historical method uh, to explain their work or to describe, but they reconstruct this history. Ethnologists actually reconstructed the history on the basis of the evidences available, or if evidences are not available, then they hypothetically reconstructed the history, right? Redcliffe Brown is the one, according to him, that field study, that social anthropology is very important. Ethnologists focused on the certain, on a particular aspect of the society. According to Redcliffe Brown, it is not important, it is not good to uh, focus on the particular aspect of this society. So he has given the term social anthropology. According to him, the social anthropology gives the generalized rules of the society, and social anthropology studies the society morphology and the physiology. The rules given by the ethnologist cannot be generalized, while the rules of social anthropology can be universalized or generalized, because the study of because the anthropologist studies society both quantitatively and qualitatively, and their study is based on the field study, right? This was the historical method to study this society. Now let us discuss the another method, that is comparative method to study society. Comparative method. Comparative sociology may be defined as that field which is concerned with systematic and explicit comparison of social phenomenon into two or more society. As the name indicates, comparative method, that is comparison between a systematic, not a comparison, a systematic and explicit comparison of social phenomena between two or more societies. If you are comparing two or more societies, then that comparison should be systematic and explicit. Comparative method defines that comparative study between a systematic and explicit comparative study of social phenomena in two or more society. Comparison is routinely used in testing hypotheses, and it can contribute to inductive discovery of new hypotheses and to theory building. We discussed about the facts and theories in our previous lectures. So, comparison uses the hypothesis testing. It contributes to the inductive discovery of new hypotheses and theory building. Inductive methods, we discussed about the inductive method. Comparative method refers to the study of different types of groups and society in order to determine analytically the factors that leads to similarities and differences. Why do we do comparative method or comparative study? The comparative method, what is comparative method? Comparative method is to study of different types of groups or the societies. Why do we do this? We do this to determine analytically the factors responsible for the similarities and the differences between the two groups. By comparing the two groups, we can analyze that their similarities and differences, the factors responsible for their similarities and differences between the two groups and the societies. When sociologists choose to observe only a part of surrounding social realities, the choice always represents a comparison of selected phenomenon under observation in relation to other social phenomena. Durkheim and comparative method. As we know, Durkheim was the first to seriously use the comparative method correctly in scientific sense. He was first to use the comparative method, a systematic comparative method, scientific use of comparative method. It is the center of Durkheim's vision of sociology. What was the vision of Durkheim's sociology? That is the comparative method. He compared various societies, various groups in his studies. It is the center of Durkheim's vision of sociology, and he was the first one to use the comparative method scientifically to compare societies. According to Durkheim, to demonstrate that a given phenomena in case of another, we have to compare the case and employ the comparative method. Sociological explanation require the establishment of cause-effect relationship. As I told you earlier, that the social explanation or the sociological explanation always require a cause-effect relationship. There must be some reason behind every action and reaction. So, sociological explanation require cause-effect relationship, current. There must be a reason behind every effect, impact, or action reaction. Since social phenomenon can escape the control of the experimenter, comparative method is best study for sociology. As we are studying society, we cannot control the society. Social phenomena are beyond the control of experimenter. So the comparative method is best study for sociology. Durkheim was not in favor of methods advocated by Mills, but he was positively inclined towards the method of concomitant variation. Few methods were given by Stuart Mills, and Durkheim was not in favor of the methods given by the Stuart Mill. We will discuss about the methods of Stuart Mill later in this lecture, right? But Durkheim was not in favor of the methods advocated by Mills, but he was positively inclined towards the method of concomitant variation. It is possible to establish concomitant variation within a society with regard to a particular social current. Then it would be necessary to compare different society or the same society at different times. It is, according to Durkheim, it is possible to establish a concomitant variation within the society. There could be a variation in the society with regard to a particular social current. At one time, there could be some another impact. At the other time, it might have changed. There could be a concomitant variation within the social society with regard to a social current. So, to understand this, it is important to compare the different societies or the same society at the say at the different times. Right? We'll continue with this in our next lecture. Till then, namaskar. Thank you very much.